Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome, friends, and a very special welcome to our brand new author, Michele Viamonte. Hi, Michelle.
Hey Miriam, how are you?
I'm so good. I'm so proud of you because
Oh,
we
so
have
good.
a book today. Let's show everybody your book.
I have it on my end, you have it on yours.
Yes. And please tell
It's
everybody the
official.
title.
Sure, it's Gabby Goes for a Walk. And I wrote it, and my illustrator was Sarah Ugolotti, who is a wonderful illustrator of children's books.
Oh, such a good book. I'm looking forward to diving right in with you, Michelle. What inspired you to write this book?
So this book comes from an actual childhood experience of mine. When I was in elementary school, one of my teachers, Mr. Orner, took us on walks as a class. And so I remember vividly visiting the bank, visiting the bakery, going to the grocery store, going to the town hall, and getting a chance to learn a little bit about our community and who works in it. Um, so as a kid, it was fun to get outside and hang out with friends. But I actually was really learning a lot about how kind of the world works and how our community works together. And in my day job today, I'm a career coach. I work with college students and early career professionals, so people more in their 20s, maybe early 30s. And I thought there's an opportunity to talk to younger children about this idea of work. And so it's been a passion, it's been something in my head for a while, and I'm excited to get it out there to families and children so they can begin to think about their own passions.
Yes, so good. I was trying to peek at the book. What was the teacher's name in the book? Is it the
Mr.
same name?
Orner. Mr.
Yes,
Orner,
it
yes.
is.
And what has been so fun is through posting a little bit about the book on Facebook, I've reconnected with him. And it has
Really?
been really, really fun. You know, he had 40 plus years, I think, in teaching, and he is just really excited about this too and seeing it kind of come full circle. I think teachers don't always realize the impact they make on kids. And they do. And so it's been a nice full circle moment to connect with Mr. Orner.
That is
Yeah.
so nice. That is so great. And you're so right. Like at this point, he's probably retired, and to
Yes.
see that
Yeah.
what he did had an impact in your life, and now that ripple effect continues for other children through your book.
Yeah, we
So, so
remember. We
special.
remember our teachers. We all
Yes.
remember our teachers. So
For sure.
yeah.
Well, we don't remember all of them. We remember those
Some
ones
of
that
them.
are right, because it's impossible to remember all of them, but the
Yeah.
ones that made an impact in our lives, that's
Yeah.
so special. And
Yeah.
I think it's so nice that as a teacher, you want to know that you did that. So how great
Yes.
that you connected with him again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So can you tell everybody what the book is about and who it's for?
Okay, so I would say it's for early elementary. I mean, it could be pre-K up through maybe third or fourth grade. And it's great for parents to read with their kids, to introduce the idea of, again, jobs and also where parents go during the day when the kids go to school. So I think that that's also a nice lesson for the kids to see. Um, I think one of the fun things is reflecting themselves about what they like and what they dislike with work. Begin to think about what am I good at, and kind
Mhm.
of where do I see myself fitting in. So I would say it's for young children, and it's about jobs in the community and how we all fit in and how we all support each other within a community. Gabby
Okay.
actually in the book goes on
Mhm.
a walk every day. So on Monday she goes one place, on Tuesday she goes another place. So over the course of the book, she gets to experience a week's worth of jobs. And in the end, not to spoil it, she thinks she finds out a little bit more about what her job may be in the future. So she gets a little closer to finding her own fit.
Mhm. I like that on right on page one or on your dedication page, you have a place there for the child to write down their name, this book belongs to, and then who, what does it say? Who wants to be at, and they get to fill that out. How special
Yeah.
for children later on as teenagers or adults to go back to this book and to see where did they fall with that. And of course, they don't have to pick
Right.
what they're going to do forever, but it's so nice to go back and see, oh, I wanted to be
Where
that when
was
I was a
I?
child. Yeah, where was I? That's so
Yeah.
special. That's so good.
And
Is there
sometimes
any,
I was
go
just going
ahead.
to say the interests could be the same. So again, maybe they want to be a rock star, as a little kid. But it's not about that. It's about being in front of an audience, or it's about connecting with people, or there's a thread in there. So it's not just the
Yes.
rock star, but what did I imagine a rock star to be? And where else
Mhm.
could I find those characteristics in different jobs? So
Yeah.
there's a learning, there's a lesson in that.
That is so true. That is so true. And all the authors that I help, a lot of times authors come and say to me, I knew since I was 7 years old, or I knew when I read this book at this age that I wanted to be an author. And then life took them in different ways. And then they come back in their 50s or 60s and they fulfilled that dream. So that's
Yeah.
just really interesting that some things stay with some of us and some things don't at all. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this. Is there anything else that you're hoping that kids and parents take away from this book?
Yeah. I mean, I think the other lesson certainly is no pressure, no pressure to
Mhm.
figure it all out. The testimonial on the back of the book, talks about that even as adults, we're still trying to figure ourselves out. So no pressure, but look around, explore, have an adventure, and try to note things along the way. There's something about senses, certainly in the book. So when we go
Mhm.
on a job walk, what do we see? What do we hear? They go to a bakery. What do they taste? What do they smell? She goes to a recycling center and she's not sure she loves the smell. So we can use our senses as a way to explore our world as well. So that's not directly discussed in the book, but I think if parents can introduce the idea, it's great for kids to realize when I'm present in this exercise, I can notice a lot of things, and sometimes I use my senses to do that.
I like that so much. Well, friends, this book is available today on Amazon, and you've already heard from Michelle. I know you're thinking, I need to go grab this book, share it with your child or your grandchild in your life. You're not going to be disappointed. You're going to enjoy this book. Grab Gabby Goes for a Walk, and it's on Amazon today. I've got the soft cover. It's also there as a hardcover and as an ebook format. So, Michelle, I want to ask you a little bit
Sure.
about you becoming an author now.
Yes, yes.
What would you say was the biggest challenge when writing this book?
Um, I would say, interestingly, the writing, wasn't as much of a challenge as everything else that goes into getting the book into the hands of children. So I knew nothing about editing or designing or publishing, and that's really where the team came in, your Miriam Laundry publishing team, because I could get the words out, but then it's
Mhm.
actually turning it into a book that was challenging, for
Mm.
me. And the technology, there's a lot of technology, but I just really appreciated this opportunity as a 50 something year old woman to expand my own skills and expand my own toolkit. And so I think that was probably the biggest challenge is like yeah, the publishing piece of
Yes,
the books.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's I'm glad you shared that. And I love the growth component, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
learn
always
and
learning.
also, yeah, we're all learning and we should always continue to
Yeah.
learn. What about lessons? What was the
Mm.
biggest lesson that you learned during the publishing
Um,
process?
I would say, again, how to kind of get started. This is kind of a lesson, but maybe it's also an encouragement. I would go outside when I wanted to write. So I kind of created a new space that wasn't where I did my typical kind of day job.
Mm.
And I just got started and I just started writing and I didn't worry about editing at all. It was just let's throw the words on the paper and get them out. And then later I went back and I tried to start editing. So I think that was certainly a lesson that when I'm trying
Mhm.
something new, it's great just to get started. And
Mhm.
and to realize we can perfect later, but we put so much pressure on ourselves
Yes.
sometimes to get it perfect the
Oh,
first time.
you
So
are
that was a good
so
lesson.
right. You're so right on that, Michelle. Somebody watching needed to hear that today. The first draft does not have to be the perfect draft. You'll worry about
Yeah.
that later in editing. That's
Yeah, the
good.
first draft was horrible, I bet.
But it's the one that got you started.
Yeah.
If we
Yes.
stop ourselves there, we won't continue. So I
Yeah.
love that you shared
Get
that.
started. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, let's talk about your illustrator.
Yes.
Please share what it was like to work with her and her name, please.
Sure. So Sarah Ugolotti is the talented illustrator. She does a lot of children's books. So
Mhm.
I found her through an agency, and she has books and puzzles and prints. She's based in Italy, And
Mm.
one of the really sweet experiences of this was I got to meet her in person. We went to Italy in June for vacation, and she and I had been emailing back and forth. And she's like, we should meet up. And I said yes, and it actually happened. So that was really fantastic to meet her in person.
That's so special. That's so
Yeah.
special. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure that you'll be sharing a little. I hope you took photos. Uh, I'm sure
Yes,
you
we got
did.
a couple of photos. Yes.
That's good. That's good. Well, what a great thing to share. I don't know if you're going to be doing school visits or when you're talking to children to talk about the illustrator and what it was like to meet her
Yeah.
also.
And we
Yeah.
got a chance to talk about how did you pick this path? She went to school for architecture, if I remember,
Okay.
and then later went to school to get a master's in illustration. So it was
Hmm.
also fun just to say, where do you get your ideas and how do you go from again an idea to the pen? So I learned a lot about illustration as well.
That's great. How long had you been thinking about writing a children's book for?
Um, 10 years at least.
10 years.
That
Okay.
this idea, and I had a different title. Gabby is my daughter, so she got to be the character. But it was going to be called Random Walks from Main Street, and that was the school, Main Street School in Titusville, Pennsylvania. That's actually where it took place way back when in elementary school. But that idea had been there, 10, 15
Mhm.
years, and I just didn't
Okay.
act on it. And more recently said, let's transform my work a little bit and do something a little different. And we started writing.
I love that. I love that. What is the best part of accomplishing this 10-year-old dream for you now?
Um, I would have to say, I work with a lot of coaches, and because that would be my cohort of peers, and it's been great to think about this through their lens as well. Like, how do we get people thinking about what am I good at? What do I love to do? Who do I want to work with? Where do I want to make an impact? And so I would say one of the things I feel proud about is working with them on this. They're part of the dedication of the book. So it's
Mhm.
kind of like a shout out to all the coaches out there that are really trying to help people be their best selves. And maybe
That's
it's at
great.
work or maybe it's at home if they're a life coach. But I feel happy that I've helped people kind of think about where they want to go and how are they going to get there.
That's so special. That's so special. Okay, so now here you are, a published
Yes.
children's book author. What advice do you have for an aspiring author who may be watching the interview?
Sure. Well, get started. I would say that would be one thing. Don't try to perfect it too early. Don't try to judge it, but just get it out of your head. I think accountability partners are really, really good for something like this.
Mm.
So telling someone you're doing it is a great way of them checking in and saying, "Hey, are you still working on that book?" As part of this program, we had a team that we worked with. So we had a cohort of people that were also trying to write books. And that was really helpful because the
Mhm.
motivation, I could give motivation to others, people could help motivate me. And I think that's really helpful. So I would say get started and try to have some sort of accountability in your community so that you keep going because you can have questions and you can have
Yes.
doubts and you need to work through those doubts. Yeah.
That is great advice. That is great advice for everybody who's watching, who's thinking about, "Oh, I want to write my own children's book." Okay, excellent. So, friends, again, today the best thing that we could do for a brand new author, and today we're celebrating Michelle. This is her book launch day. Go and buy a copy of this book. Maybe buy a couple of them and share with the kids in your life, your neighbors that have children or grandchildren. They're going to remember that and enjoy it. They're fully, fully going to enjoy this book. So go to Amazon today and buy a copy of this book. Now, besides going to Amazon, where else can our viewers find you, Michelle?
Sure. Okay. So my traditional business site is iblankpage.com. And that's where people would find information on the coaching work that I do, as well as this new area of children's books. I have a couple of other ideas for young adult projects that I'm going to be taking on. So iblankpage.com is a great place to look. I also am on Facebook and Instagram. It's again under this umbrella of Blank Page, so Blank Page Careers or Blank Page Associates. So I think if they would to search for Blank Page, they would find me on those two places. Um, the one other thing I would mention, I put this on my website, but my daughter Gabby is I don't want to give too much of a spoiler, but she's thinking about being a teacher. Um,
Mm.
so one of the things that we had the fun opportunity to do this summer was put some of these questions to paper, and she
Hmm.
actually helped me create a little journal that, if you notice, Gabby's holding in the book, and the dog has run away with on the
I
back
love
cover.
that.
So she helped me create this book, and it actually has pages that the kids can fill in if they decide to go on job walks.
Okay.
So you can use this as a companion to the book if you want to go on
Excellent.
job walks with your child. And they'd find this on my website, and it's on Amazon too.
Okay. What a
Yes.
great idea. What a great idea to go along with the book. Okay. I
Yes.
love that. And I did see that book around the book when I was reading it. So that's great.
Oh, that's
That's
good.
good.
They're linking it. So
Yes.
somehow they're
My
linking it.
brain linked them. My brain linked them.
I
So I
love that.
love that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Michelle, before we go, is there anything else you'd like to share or anything that you wish I would have asked you?
Um, I don't think so in terms of questions. I would just say, again, this is targeted towards young kids, but also a fourth, fifth, sixth grader could take this on with their younger sibling. So again, it
Yes.
feels like it's for early kids and early childhood, but a family could certainly do this at different points. And again, a fourth grader is going to experience this job exploration differently than a kindergartner. But I would just say, get outside, go for some walks, talk about these things. It's never too early to think
Yes.
about work, but in a very soft, non, obligatory way. I don't want children to feel like they have to lock in kindergarten.
Yes, exactly. It's just a fun thing
Yeah,
to start thinking about
yeah,
and explore. I love that word, explore.
yeah.
Well, Michelle, it's been so good speaking with you. Friends, thank you so much for being here. And go to Amazon, grab a copy of this wonderful book. We'll talk soon. Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody. Thanks,
Maria.
Michelle.
Thank you.